Feminists need to stop perpetuating rape culture, honestly. I was watching a video by Sargon of Akkad. I think is how you say it. I don't know. He says it with an accent, so I don't really know how to say it without an accent. So, yeah, Sargon of Akkad, who's... Uh, he's a very brilliant anti-feminist, and he really addresses the core issues of feminism, such as feminism perpetuating rape culture. And he basically made this response video to some feminist named Anna. I don't know who she. I don't really know her. I didn't. She said her name in the video, but I didn't really pay attention because I knew it was gonna be a bullshit video anyway. And basically, what she did is she is making a how to not get raped video, and she starts off by she makes some really bad rape jokes, and rape is not something you should joke about, and she still does. And she makes these jokes basically in bad taste. She makes these jokes to show that men are the problem with rape, and it's not like men are the only thing wrong with rape and stuff. And it's really fucked up. If you watch like the first half of the video, it's really bad, because she's literally just making rape jokes. And then she basically goes on to make the video more serious near the end, where she starts talking about how feminism, or how girls are taught from a young age to not get raped, like how to not get raped, like take self-defense. She like literally lists it off. She's like, take self-defense, have pepper spray, have this like little thing that you can gouge someone's fucking eyes out with, and like don't walk alone at night, don't walk down alleys, don't run upstairs if you're being chased, because then you'll be trapped. If you think you're being followed, like take like 3 right turns, and that way you just went in a circle, and so then you'll know if the person's following you or not. Like, the problem with any of these things, literally any of these things, is these things could be applied to me too. I live in a pretty sketchy town. My college, like basically, so I'm in a dorm right now, and everything that way, literally, because I'm facing a window, that everything that way is a really nice area, and everything that way is a really sketchy area. I'm literally right on the border between where it's a nice area and a shitty area. And the area around my dorm, because I'm like 20 minutes off campus, is really sketchy at night, and it's pretty dangerous too. And someone like me, if it's not safe for me to walk alone, and so they have ways of teaching me to prevent getting assaulted, getting either mugged, or possibly like kidnapped or something. Like I know that's not nearly as likely, but when I get here, they teach me ways of preventing that. And they even have something called Safe Ride, which is a program where I can call like certain times of the day or something like that, and a car will come pick me up and drive me to somewhere else, so then I'll be safe. I don't have to walk at night. And they teach me these things, and that's why is no matter what you teach people, they're still going to commit crimes. And so the best way to prevent the crime from happening, the best way for me to prevent getting mugged, isn't to teach people not to mug, because those people are going to mug anyway. They're going to, because they're fucked up. They're going to do that anyway. The best way is prevention. Me preventing me from getting mugged. For example, I hang out on campus a lot, which is 20 minutes away, like that way. The campus is in a nice area, and so then when I'm walking back, that's when it gets to the more dangerous area. I never walk back before or after 6:30 p.m. Actually, it's getting later now because it's staying lighter later. But like early on, I would walk back at 6:30. I would literally leave my girlfriend's dorm no matter what we're doing at 6:30. Is that wrong? Like, is it bad that I'm taking precautions? No. I also would try to walk in bigger groups if possible. A lot of times I'd be walking back by myself because I don't know all that many people that would be walking back at that time. However, there would be people that would be walking back as well, and so I'd try to stay near that group, so we'd be in a group more. And I was taking another precaution. Taking precautions is the best way of preventing the crime, not teaching people not to commit that crime. Because guess what? Unless you grew up in a really shitty area, you're taught not to commit those crimes. I was taught that rape is a bad thing. So were a lot of men. But guess what? Rape still happens. If I were deranged, if I were like mentally unstable, I would rape regardless of if you taught me not to rape or not. There are people who will rape just because they can, even though they're taught not to. Teaching little boys, the way she worded it was awful, that rape isn't even a choice, is fucked up because it won't work. And it'll bring boys up, them thinking, we're just monsters. We have to be taught not to rape so much. And that's just what they're going to think, and that's so fucked up. You're not going to change anything either way. Because guys are going to rape no matter what, and it's not based on what you're taught and what you're not. For example, a great example, I mean, this isn't as bad as rape, but like theft, stealing. I've been taught and reiterated by my parents over and over and over again not to steal. But you know the only reason why I don't steal is because if I see, I'll just give an example. If I see someone sitting somewhere and then they get up and their wallet is just sitting right there, they accidentally left their wallet and they left, I could easily just take the wallet and no one would know. The only reason why I don't steal from that person is because I don't want that happening to me, and I put myself in their shoes. What would I want to happen in that situation? I could, if I didn't do that, I could easily steal that wallet, even though I've been taught not to steal numerous times. Teaching men not to rape won't stop rape. I would go as far to say as it won't even decrease rape rates at all. Men are going to rape no matter what. And I'm sorry to break that to you, but all you're doing is perpetuating rape culture. Rape culture doesn't even exist. I don't even really, no one has clearly defined rape culture, but like I don't even really understand what you mean by rape culture. But there is no rape culture. There's no group out there that's just like, ooh, let's get together and rape a bunch of people. Like, what happens is, okay, this isn't a valid excuse, but oftentimes men are under the influence when they rape a woman. And that's not a valid excuse. They should still be punished just as much. And I think the punishment for rape should be just as bad as it is, if not worse. But you're not going to stop rape from happening by just teaching men not to rape. It's not going to happen. And it really bugs me that that's your plan of action isn't to take precautions against something. And I've already addressed this in another video, but that's just the worst way to look at it, is to teach people not to do it. Well, okay, if that's what feminism is about, how come feminism isn't about starting programs to teach people not to mug, to teach people not to drive fast, to teach people to to drive really slowly so that people don't have to look both ways, take precautions when crossing the road? How come you're not teaching people not to murder, even though people know not to murder and it still happens anyway? Let's see. How come you're teaching people not to commit fraud? How come you're teaching people not to commit identity theft? Oh, well, you're only addressing the one issue that seems like it's the only issue that really affects and oppresses women, which it doesn't. It affects everybody, and it doesn't oppress anybody. And you're just trying to perpetuate that to make it look like men are these monsters, even though I'll bet the rate, like if you compare rates of rape for men compared to women as compared to rates of fraud, I'll bet men commit far more fraud than women do. But you're not addressing that issue. And you'd say, oh, because rape is worse. Well, what about murder? And also, what about the fact, the statistics that show that men are the victims of murder far more often than women are? How come you're not addressing that? How come you're not addressing that issue and being like, okay, well, let's teach people not to murder then? You're only saying let's teach people not to rape. It's really sickening that that's the one issue you focus on. That's why I consider myself an egalitarian, is because I don't want to place a gender label on my position, and I don't want to support one gender over the other. If I see an issue, if I see it like an issue and like men have a higher suicide rate when it comes to like really shitty jobs, I would want to address that. But then I'd be perfectly fine addressing if I saw women had a higher suicide rate when it came to like nursing jobs, which isn't true, but I'm just spitballing here. I would want to address both issues. I would not just focus on men's issues. And that's what's wrong with feminism. That's why I consider myself an anti-feminist, is because the feminist movement is so poisonous, and they just build things up to be worse than they are, and they just try to play the oppressed card, and they just only focus on their own issues. They don't focus on any issues that affect men whatsoever. And it's just sickening. That's my rant. I had to get that out. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, rate, subscribe, and have a nice day.